I'm grateful you joined tonight. Your nervous system is processing information right now in ways most people can't imagine. Noticing subtleties, feeling deeply, sensing what others miss. Tonight, you'll discover why sensitivity and sleep are forever intertwined. And by the end, you'll understand why your need for rest isn't weakness, but wisdom. Welcome to Psychology for Sleep. Wherever you are right now, perhaps lying awake with thoughts too loud and feelings too intense, or simply exhausted from a day of absorbing the world's weight, allow yourself this moment of understanding. We'll journey through 100 psychology facts about sensitivity and sleep, from the genetic whispers in your DNA that make you different, to the brain pathways that never quite rest, to the beautiful reason your body demands more darkness, more quiet, more peace. This thoughtful journey through consciousness builds bridges between searching minds. A gentle subscribe, like, or sharing your thoughts creates a pathway for more sensitive souls to discover and brings us closer to protect this sanctuary. One sleepy soul at a time. Your healing journey inspires ours. Let yourself settle completely here. Feel your jaw unclench, your breath deepen naturally. You don't need to hold on to these words or fix anything about yourself tonight. Sense that soothing heaviness enveloping you, like your consciousness slowly dimming its brightness. Thoughts dissolving into peaceful fog of approaching sleep. Safe and undisturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. You're floating, where thoughts rest gently, in understanding darkness. Let your mind merge with infinite acceptance. And now we begin. Sensory processing sensitivity isn't a disorder or a choice. It's a temperamental trait found in approximately 20 to 30% of the human population. Research published in 2024 and 2025 confirms that highly sensitive people, often called HSPs, perceive and process environmental information more deeply than others. Their brains work differently at a fundamental level, showing increased activity in regions responsible for awareness, emotional processing, and detailed attention to subtle stimuli. This isn't about being fragile or overly emotional. It's about having a nervous system calibrated to notice what most people filter out. The slight shift in someone's tone, the barely perceptible change in room temperature, the subtle emotional undercurrent in a crowded space. Sensitivity is built into the architecture of who you are, written in your genes, visible in your brain scans, expressed in every waking hour. Your sensitivity has a biological foundation. Twin studies conducted through 2021 and referenced in 2024, research revealed that approximately 40 to 47% of the variability in sensory sensitivity relates directly to genetic factors, specific genes involved in neurotransmitter processing, particularly those managing serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine, contribute to how deeply you process information. This means your sensitivity isn't something you learned or developed through experience alone. You were likely born this way, carrying genetic variations that make your nervous system more responsive, more aware, more attuned to the world around you. The remaining 53 to 60% of sensitivity comes from environmental influences, particularly early childhood experiences. But the foundation was there from the beginning, a different kind of nervous system, neither better nor worse than others, simply different in its fundamental design. The scientific term for this trait is sensory processing sensitivity. or SPS for short. It's distinct from clinical conditions like sensory processing disorder, though they can sometimes overlap. Sensory processing sensitivity exists on a spectrum, with most people falling somewhere in the middle. About 20% scoring high, and another 20% scoring quite low. Dr. Elaine Aron first identified and studied this trait extensively in the 1990s, developing the highly sensitive person scale that's still used in research today. More recent studies from 2024 and 2025 have refined our understanding, identifying multiple dimensions of sensitivity: ease of excitation, low sensory threshold, aesthetic sensitivity, and deep processing. Each dimension affects how you experience the world, how your body responds to stimulation, and critically, how your sleep system functions under stress. Here's where sleep enters the picture. Research published in 2024 by Dr. Luca Simeoni and Ilda Pieroni made a crucial discovery. Highly sensitive people experience something called high sleep reactivity. Sleep reactivity is the degree to which stress disrupts your ability to fall asleep and stay asleep. Think of it as your sleep system's sensitivity to daytime stress. While everyone's sleep can be affected by stress, highly sensitive individuals show drastically more sleep deterioration when stressed compared to people with low sleep reactivity. This discovery matters because it means that the same amount of stress that barely affects someone else's sleep can leave you lying awake for hours, mind racing, unable to quiet the thoughts and feelings accumulated during the day. It's not that you're weak at handling stress. It's that your sleep system is fundamentally more reactive to the stimulation and emotional intensity you absorbed while awake. This sleep reactivity exists independently of other personality factors. The 2024 research, Controlled for Neuroticism, General Stress Levels, and Various Sleep Patterns. The findings remained clear. Sensitivity itself predicts sleep difficulties when stress is present. This discovery matters because it means your sleep problems aren't just about being anxious or generally stressed. They're specifically about being highly sensitive. The study involved 358 participants and found a positive correlation between sensory processing sensitivity, sleep reactivity, and insomnia symptoms. More importantly, they discovered that sleep reactivity fully explained the link between sensitivity and insomnia. It's not that sensitive people experience more stress, necessarily. It's that whatever stress they do experience has a much more powerful impact on their ability to sleep. The pathway is clear: sensitivity leads to sleep reactivity, which leads to sleep difficulties. Your brain doesn't fully rest even when you think it should. Functional MRI studies and EEG research from 2023 through 2025 reveal something fascinating. The highly sensitive brain shows more activity even during resting states, with eyes open. Specifically, researchers found higher EEG activity in the central, parietal, and temporal regions, areas involved in processing information, integrating sensory input, and maintaining awareness. It's as if your brain remains more alert, more engaged with your environment, even when you're trying to simply exist quietly. Interestingly, when highly sensitive participants closed their eyes, this difference in brain activity diminished. The visual disconnection from the environment helped quiet the constant processing. This suggests that your nervous system is continuously working harder to process the sensory world around you, creating a baseline level of neural activity that's higher than most people experience. This constant processing creates something researchers call cognitive load, the mental effort required to process information. For highly sensitive people, cognitive load accumulates faster because you're processing more details, more deeply, more constantly. Imagine two people walking through the same crowded grocery store. One person notices the overall environment, makes their purchases, and leaves. You notice the fluorescent lights humming at a specific frequency, the couple arguing 3 aisles over, the anxious energy of the hurried shopper behind you, the slight chemical smell from the cleaning products, the emotional exhaustion of the cashier. You're not choosing to notice these things. Your nervous system is simply built to detect them. By the time you leave the store, you've processed exponentially more information, requiring exponentially more mental energy, leaving you more depleted than someone with lower sensitivity. This depletion has direct consequences for sleep. When your brain has worked harder all day processing more information, it needs more recovery time. Sleep isn't just about physical rest. It's when your brain consolidates memories, processes emotions, clears metabolic waste, and repairs neural connections. Recent research from 2025 on memory and sleep consciousness confirms that these processes happen largely during specific sleep stages, particularly during slow-wave sleep and REM sleep. If you've spent the day with a brain running at higher intensity, processing more deeply, feeling more acutely, you require more thorough sleep to recover. It's simple mathematics of neural recovery. More processing during waking hours equals greater need for restorative sleep at night. Your need for more sleep isn't excessive. It's proportional to how hard your nervous system works while you're awake. Let's talk about what happens in your brain when you're overstimulated. Studies using experience sampling methods, where people report their experiences multiple times throughout the day, found that overstimulation in highly sensitive people increases from afternoon into early evening. It's highest when you're around other people, especially in groups. And when exposed to unpleasant auditory or visual stimuli, overstimulation is that feeling of being overwhelmed, mentally exhausted, emotionally raw, physically tense. It's your nervous system signaling that it's reached capacity, that it needs recovery time. For most people, this might happen occasionally during particularly intense days. For highly sensitive individuals, it can happen daily, even from normal activities that others find unremarkable. The cumulative effect of daily overstimulation is a nervous system constantly operating near its limit, desperately needing the recovery that only sleep can provide. Research from December 2025 on overstimulation in daily life revealed something worth noting. Highly sensitive people report significantly higher levels of overstimulation when they're fatigued or in a negative mood. This creates a concerning cycle. Overstimulation leads to fatigue, which makes you more susceptible to overstimulation, which depletes you further, which makes sleep more difficult because your nervous system is wound too tight to relax. It's a feedback loop where each element reinforces the others. Breaking this cycle requires understanding that you're not being dramatic or weak when you need to withdraw from stimulation. You're responding to a genuine biological need. Your nervous system is asking, sometimes desperately, for the chance to decompress, to process, to integrate, to rest. Sleep is when that finally happens, if you can access it. The brain regions most affected by sensitivity offer clues about why sleep becomes so crucial. When highly sensitive people view emotional stimuli, whether positive or negative, they show more activity in areas called the central executive network, which manages thoughts and actions, and in regions associated with visceral sensations and awareness. A 2024 study using MRI scans, while participants watched movies with different emotional content, found that threatening or stressful environmental stimuli had a greater impact on individuals scoring higher in sensitivity. Their brains worked harder to process the emotional information, to make sense of it, to respond appropriately. This heightened processing during waking hours means more neural work that needs to be consolidated and integrated during sleep. Your brain is literally doing more work, requiring more recovery time. Childhood experiences interact with your sensitivity in ways that affect sleep throughout your life. Research shows that highly sensitive people who experience difficult childhoods show different brain patterns when viewing negative stimuli. Specifically, decreased activity in areas associated with reward. Those who had positive childhoods showed more activity in prefrontal areas related to cognitive processing and self-regulation when viewing the same stimuli. This means your early environment didn't create your sensitivity, but it did shape how your sensitive nervous system learned to respond to the world. If you had to be hypervigilant as a child, if your sensitivity wasn't understood or respected, patterns established in your nervous system may persist into adulthood, making sleep more elusive even when you're safe now. These learned patterns of heightened alertness can make rest feel unfamiliar, even threatening, requiring patient relearning of safety. Your sensitivity manifests in 3 primary dimensions that all affect sleep differently. The first is ease of excitation, which refers to how quickly you become overwhelmed by intense stimulation. If you have high ease of excitation, crowded places, loud environments, or busy schedules drain you rapidly. The second dimension is low sensory threshold, discomfort with sensory stimuli like scratchy fabrics, bright lights, or strong smells. The third is aesthetic sensitivity, your deep appreciation for art, music, nature's beauty, subtle details. Research from 2024 and 2025 shows that ease of excitation and low sensory threshold tend to correlate with sleep difficulties and negative emotions, while aesthetic sensitivity connects more with positive experiences. Understanding which dimensions are strongest in you helps explain your specific sleep challenges and what kind of environment your nervous system needs to finally rest. There's a paradox at the heart of sensitivity and sleep. Your nervous system craves rest more than most, yet finds it harder to achieve. This isn't a cruel irony. It's a logical consequence of how your brain works. Research on brain activity during rest shows that highly sensitive individuals maintain higher levels of processing even when trying to relax. Your brain resists fully disengaging from the environment because it's designed to notice, to process, to remain aware. Evolution may have favored this trait because someone in the group needed to detect subtle dangers, notice slight changes, sense what others missed. But in modern life, where threats are chronic stress rather than immediate predators, this same trait keeps you awake, processing the day's accumulated experiences when you desperately need to sleep. The very quality that makes you perceptive also makes you wakeful. Let's address a question you may have wondered about. Is your need for more sleep real? Or are you just not trying hard enough? The answer is definitively biological. Adults with high sensitivity show the same processing intensity as sensitive children. Vast information accumulation requiring proportional integration time. Without adequate sleep, emotional regulation suffers, cognitive clarity diminishes, resilience depletes. Your sleep needs aren't psychological weakness. They're physiological necessity, proportional to how your nervous system functions. Research shows that when highly sensitive individuals don't get sufficient rest, they experience more pronounced negative states, increased emotional reactivity, decreased stress tolerance, impaired decision-making. These aren't character flaws manifesting. These are direct consequences of a nervous system operating without the recovery time its intensive processing demands. Sleep architecture, the structure of your sleep cycles, matters enormously for highly sensitive people. Normal sleep consists of cycles lasting approximately 90 minutes, moving through light sleep, deep slow-wave sleep, and REM sleep. Research from 2025 on sleep architecture and effect found that reallocating time from light sleep to deep slow-wave sleep was associated with significantly higher positive emotions. Specifically, moving 30 minutes from light or REM sleep to slow-wave sleep correlated with noticeably better mood upon waking. For sensitive individuals who spend their days emotionally impacted by their environments, this deep slow-wave sleep becomes even more critical. It's during this stage that your brain clears metabolic waste, consolidates memories, and integrates emotional experiences. Without enough slow-wave sleep, you wake up still carrying yesterday's emotional and cognitive burden, already depleted before the day begins. REM sleep serves different but equally vital functions for your sensitive nervous system. This is when your brain processes emotions, consolidates emotional memories, and integrates complex experiences. Studies from 2025 confirm that REM sleep involves memory reactivation, where multiple memories are simultaneously processed and connected. For highly sensitive people who experience emotions more intensely and notice more emotional subtleties throughout the day, REM sleep becomes the nightly processing session where all those experiences get filed, understood, integrated. When your REM sleep is disrupted or insufficient, emotional regulation suffers the next day. You feel more reactive, more overwhelmed, less resilient. It's not that you're being dramatic. It's that your brain didn't get the REM sleep time it needed to process yesterday's emotional intensity, leaving you starting today already emotionally depleted and less capable of handling new stimulation. The concept of sleep debt takes on special significance for highly sensitive individuals. Sleep debt is the cumulative effect of not getting enough sleep over time. For most people, one bad night can be recovered with one good night. But research on repeated sleep restriction cycles shows that recovery isn't always complete. Studies from 2025 found that after 5 nights of 5-hour sleep periods, even 2 nights of 9-hour recovery sleep couldn't fully restore all aspects of sleep architecture and function. For highly sensitive people who need more sleep baseline and are more affected by sleep disruption, sleep debt accumulates faster and recovers slower. Missing an hour of sleep isn't just losing 60 minutes of rest. It's missing crucial processing time that your sensitive nervous system desperately needed, creating a deficit that affects your functioning for days afterward. Let's explore what makes falling asleep so difficult when you're highly sensitive. Sleep onset. The transition from wakefulness to sleep requires your nervous system to downregulate, to quiet its vigilance, to release the day's tensions. But your nervous system has spent all day in heightened awareness, processing deeply, feeling intensely, noticing everything. It can't simply switch off. Brain research shows that your central executive network, responsible for managing thoughts and actions, remains more active when processing stimuli. This same network needs to quiet down for sleep to come. But it's been working overtime all day, and it doesn't easily release its grip on awareness. You lie in bed, exhausted yet alert, body tired but mind racing, caught in that frustrating state where you desperately want to sleep but can't access the neural off switch that would let it happen. Environmental factors play an outsized role in whether you can sleep. While someone with lower sensitivity might sleep despite noise, light, or temperature variations, your sensitive nervous system detects and responds to subtle environmental factors that others don't even notice. The barely perceptible hum of electronics, the sliver of light under the door, the slight stuffiness of the room, the texture of your sheets, the ambient sounds from outside. Each of these registers in your awareness, preventing full relaxation. Research on sensory processing shows that unpleasant auditory and visual stimuli significantly increase overstimulation in sensitive individuals. This means your sleeping environment requires more careful attention than most people need. It's not about being difficult or high maintenance. It's about creating conditions where your sensitive nervous system can finally release its constant vigilance and surrender to sleep. There's a beautiful aspect to your sensitivity that affects sleep positively: aesthetic sensitivity. This dimension of sensory processing sensitivity involves deep appreciation for beauty, art, music, nature's subtleties. While ease of excitation and low sensory threshold correlate with sleep difficulties, aesthetic sensitivity connects with positive emotions and experiences. This suggests that surrounding yourself with beauty, soft lighting, calming colors, gentle sounds, pleasant textures can support your sleep system. Your nervous system, so reactive to harsh stimulation, responds equally powerfully to gentle, beautiful stimuli. The same sensitivity that makes you vulnerable to overstimulation can be soothed by carefully chosen sensory experiences. A darkened room with soft sheets, gentle, ambient sound, perhaps the subtle scent of lavender. These aren't luxuries for you. They're tools that work with your sensitivity rather than against it. Your empathy, that deep capacity to feel what others feel, creates unique sleep challenges. Research from 2024 and 2025 on sensory processing, sensitivity, and empathy found strong associations, particularly with emotional empathy and the deep processing of others' thoughts and feelings. This means you don't just observe others' emotions. You absorb them, feel them in your own body, carry them with you. If you spent time with someone anxious, you absorbed some of their anxiety. If you witnessed someone's pain, you felt echoes of that pain. By bedtime, you're carrying not just your own day's experiences, but emotional residue from everyone you encountered. These absorbed emotions need processing time during sleep. But they also make falling asleep harder because you're not just calming your own nervous system. You're trying to calm the nervous system that's been resonating with others all day long. The relationship between sensitivity and depression reveals another sleep connection. While sensitivity itself isn't a disorder, research shows that highly sensitive people are more vulnerable to developing anxiety and depression, particularly when exposed to challenging environments. However, and this is worth noting, they also respond more positively to therapeutic interventions compared to non-sensitive individuals. This suggests that your sensitivity is a trait of heightened responsiveness to everything positive and negative experiences, helpful and harmful environments, restorative and depleting situations. Poor sleep exacerbates vulnerability to depression and anxiety. Good sleep enhances resilience and emotional regulation. For sensitive individuals, sleep isn't just about feeling rested. It's a critical protective factor against the mental health challenges that their heightened environmental responsiveness makes them more susceptible to. Sleep, for you, is preventive medicine as much as recovery. Recent research on sleep reactivity offers both challenging and hopeful insights. The challenging part: if you're highly sensitive, you're more likely to experience drastic sleep deterioration when stressed, whereas people with low sleep reactivity proceed largely unperturbed during the same stress. The hopeful part: understanding this relationship means you can address it specifically. The 2024 research by Simeone and Pironi notes that addressing sleep-related difficulties specifically can help HSPs with insomnia. This means focusing not just on general stress management, but on sleep hygiene, sleep environment, sleep-specific strategies like cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. Your sleep problems aren't just about fixing your stress or changing your personality. They're about understanding how stress specifically affects your sleep system and intervening at that precise point of vulnerability. Here's what we've discovered so far in our journey together. Your sensitivity is real, measurable, biological. It's approximately 20 to 47% genetic, affecting specific brain regions and neural pathways. It creates higher cognitive load during waking hours, more intense emotional experiences, deeper information processing, and greater susceptibility to overstimulation. All of this culminates in high sleep reactivity, your sleep system's heightened vulnerability to stress. This isn't a character flaw or weakness. It's how your particular nervous system functions. You need more sleep not because you're lazy or fragile, but because you process more, feel more, notice more, absorb more during your waking hours. Your sleep needs are proportional to how your sensitivity shapes your daily experience. And understanding this, truly understanding it, is the first step toward giving yourself the sleep your nervous system has been desperately asking for. Take a deep breath and notice what's happening in your body right now. In this moment, feel the weight of your head on the pillow, heavier than you realized. Notice how your shoulders have been holding tension all day. And now, permission to release it. Slowly, like ice melting, your nervous system has been working so hard, processing every detail, feeling every feeling, noticing what others miss. But right now, in this darkness, you don't need to process anything. You don't need to feel anyone else's emotions or notice the subtle shifts in your environment. Your body knows how to rest. It's been waiting for this permission. Breathe into the spaces where you hold other people's feelings. Breathe out, releasing what was never yours to carry. Your sensitivity is not your burden. It's simply how you're made. And tonight, it can rest. Now we continue. The carrying of stress into bedtime is called sleep reactivity, and it's the primary mechanism linking your sensitivity to sleep difficulties. Think of it this way: most people have a buffer between daily stress and sleep disruption. Their nervous system can experience stress during the day but compartmentalize it, preventing it from invading the night. Your buffer is thinner, more permeable. The stress you experienced at 9 in the morning is still echoing in your nervous system at 9 at night. That difficult conversation, that crowded commute, that overwhelming meeting, they don't stay in the past. They follow you to bed, keeping your nervous system activated when it desperately needs to deactivate. This isn't because you're dwelling on things or can't let go. It's because your nervous system processes experiences more deeply, holding on to their imprint longer. Neuroscience research helps explain why stress lingers in your system. Studies from 2024 show that threatening or stressful stimuli have a greater impact on individuals, scoring higher in sensory processing sensitivity. The brain regions most affected are those involved in awareness, emotional processing, and the integration of sensory information. When you experience stress, it's not just a passing experience. It's processed deeply, felt intensely, remembered vividly. Your amygdala, the brain's emotional alarm system, shows stronger responses. Your hippocampus, involved in memory formation, creates stronger imprints. Your prefrontal cortex works harder to make sense of the experience. All of this neural activity doesn't simply stop because the clock says it's bedtime. The processing continues, keeping you awake, mind active, unable to transition into sleep's quieter neural states. Let's talk about what happens during a typical day. You wake up already processing the quality of light, the sounds outside, your body's sensations, your emotional state. You navigate your morning, noticing more details than most people register. You go through your day absorbing information, emotions, stimuli at a higher rate. By afternoon, research shows overstimulation begins increasing. By early evening, you're approaching your limit. You finally reach home, exhausted, craving quiet. But you can't simply switch off. Your nervous system is still processing everything it absorbed. Your emotions are still reverberating. And somehow, you're supposed to transition from this state of heightened activation to the deep relaxation required for sleep. The gap between these two states feels impossible to bridge sometimes, doesn't it? There's a physiological reason why winding down feels so difficult. Your autonomic nervous system has two main branches: sympathetic, which activates your stress response, and parasympathetic, which promotes rest and recovery. Throughout your day, sensitivity keeps your sympathetic system more activated than most people's. By evening, you need to shift to parasympathetic dominance for sleep to come. But this shift requires time and specific conditions. Your highly responsive nervous system doesn't transition quickly. It needs a longer runway, more gradual descent. 20 minutes before bed isn't enough. You might need 2 hours of progressively quieter, dimmer, calmer experiences to finally reach the parasympathetic state where sleep becomes possible. This isn't excessive. It's proportional to how activated your system becomes during waking hours. Research on highly sensitive children offers insights applicable to adults. Studies from 2024 explicitly state that sensitive children need sufficient sleep time to process the large amount of information they accumulate. And without adequate rest, they fall into negative states. Sadness, depression, depleted functioning. This isn't unique to children. Your adult sensitive nervous system has the same requirements. Every day you accumulate vast amounts of sensory, emotional, and cognitive information. Every night, your brain needs sufficient time to process it all. When you don't get that time, you don't just feel tired the next day. You feel emotionally raw, cognitively foggy, more reactive to stimulation, less resilient to stress. The negative state that insufficient sleep creates makes you even more vulnerable to overstimulation, perpetuating the cycle. Your brain's activity during sleep differs from others in ways that matter. While everyone cycles through sleep stages, light sleep, deep slow-wave sleep, REM sleep, the quality and restorative capacity of these stages may function differently for highly sensitive individuals. Research on sleep architecture from 2025 shows that the distribution of time across sleep stages affects next-day emotions significantly. For sensitive people who experience emotions more intensely, the need for adequate slow-wave sleep becomes even more critical. This is when emotional experiences get integrated, when the hippocampus and neocortex communicate to consolidate memories, when your brain literally cleans house, clearing the metabolic byproducts that accumulated during your day of intensive processing. Without sufficient deep sleep, this integration and cleaning doesn't complete, leaving you starting the next day already depleted. Let's discuss REM sleep's special role for sensitive individuals. REM sleep is when your brain processes emotions, creating and dissolving connections between memories, integrating experiences into your broader understanding. Recent research confirms that memory processing during sleep happens largely unconsciously, with many memories reactivated simultaneously. But for highly sensitive people who accumulate more intense emotional experiences daily, this nightly processing session becomes even more crucial. Your REM sleep is working overtime, processing not just events, but the rich emotional texture of those events, the subtle social cues you detected, the emotional residue you absorbed from others. When REM sleep is disrupted or shortened, this processing remains incomplete. You wake up still emotionally burdened by yesterday's unintegrated experiences, making today's challenges harder to face. The sleep environment requirements for sensitive individuals go beyond simple preferences. They're biological necessities. Your low sensory threshold means you detect and respond to stimuli that others don't consciously register. That clock ticking, that outdoor streetlight, that slight temperature fluctuation, each creates small activations in your nervous system, preventing complete relaxation. Research from 2025 on overstimulation found that unpleasant auditory and visual stimuli significantly increase distress in sensitive individuals. This applies equally at night. You need more darkness, more quiet, more temperature stability, more comfortable textures than most people require. This isn't about being difficult. It's about creating an environment where your highly responsive nervous system can finally stop responding, can finally release its constant monitoring of sensory input, can finally rest. There's another factor affecting your sleep that's rarely discussed: the emotional atmosphere of your sleeping space. Because you're empathetic and emotionally attuned, you absorb the emotional energy of environments. If there's tension in your home, if you went to bed after a difficult conversation, If your sleeping space holds emotional associations with stress or conflict, your nervous system registers this. You're not just lying in a bed. You're lying in an emotional field that your sensitivity detects and responds to. Creating emotional calm around sleep matters as much as physical quiet. This might mean resolving conflicts before bed when possible, or establishing rituals that emotionally separate daytime stress from nighttime rest. Your sleep environment needs to feel emotionally safe, not just physically comfortable. Research on the genetics of sensitivity reveals something worth noting for understanding sleep needs. Studies show that approximately 40 to 47% of sensitivity's variability relates to genetic variants affecting neurotransmitter systems, particularly serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. These same neurotransmitters play crucial roles in sleep regulation. Serotonin is a precursor to melatonin, the sleep hormone. Dopamine affects wakefulness and reward processing. Norepinephrine influences arousal and attention. If your genetic variants create a nervous system that processes these neurotransmitters differently, it affects both your daytime sensitivity and your nighttime sleep capacity. Your sleep challenges aren't separate from your sensitivity. They're two expressions of the same underlying neurobiology. Understanding this helps you see that improving sleep isn't about willpower. It's about working with your specific neurochemistry. The concept of sleep pressure helps explain another aspect of your sleep difficulties. Sleep pressure is the biological drive to sleep that builds the longer you're awake. It's regulated by a chemical called adenosine that accumulates in your brain during waking hours. Normally, after about 16 hours awake, sleep pressure is high enough to overcome wakefulness. But for highly sensitive individuals whose nervous systems remain more activated, the threshold for sleep might be higher. You might need more sleep pressure to overcome your system's persistent alertness. Or your high cortisol from accumulated stress might interfere with adenosine's sleep-promoting effects. Either way, you might feel exhausted yet unable to sleep. Your body tired, but your brain still too activated to surrender to the sleep pressure that should, theoretically, pull you under. Let's address the guilt many sensitive people feel about their sleep needs. You might compare yourself to others who seem to function fine on 6 hours, who fall asleep easily, who don't need perfect conditions to rest. You might feel weak, broken, excessive in your requirements. But comparison is meaningless here. Research clearly shows that highly sensitive people have different neurobiological functioning. Your brain processes more information more deeply. Your emotional system responds more intensely. Your sensory system detects more stimuli. These aren't character flaws. They're measurable differences in brain function and genetic expression. Just as someone taller needs more food to maintain their body, your more active nervous system needs more sleep to maintain its functioning. The guilt serves no purpose. The self-compassion, however, serves everything. There's emerging research on interventions that specifically help highly sensitive people sleep better. Mindfulness-based approaches show particular promise. These practices help you observe your thoughts and sensations without becoming overwhelmed by them, creating some distance between your awareness and the intense processing your nervous system does automatically. Cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, or CBT-I, also demonstrates effectiveness. This approach helps restructure the thoughts and behaviors that maintain insomnia, teaching your nervous system new associations with bedtime. For sensitive individuals whose sleep reactivity is the primary issue. These interventions address the specific mechanism, not just treating general anxiety or stress, but targeting the pathway between sensitivity, stress, and sleep disruption. The research suggests that highly sensitive people may respond particularly well to therapeutic interventions, given their heightened responsiveness to environmental input. Your relationship with sleep might benefit from reconceptualization. Instead of viewing sleep as something you should be able to achieve easily, consider it a skill that your particular nervous system needs to learn and practice. Research on sleep reactivity shows that it's a trait-like quality. Some people's sleep systems are inherently more reactive to stress. You're working with a sleep system that's more delicate, more responsive, more easily disrupted. This doesn't mean it can't improve. It means improvement requires specific understanding and targeted approaches. Just as someone with sensitive skin develops particular skincare routines, your sensitive nervous system needs particular sleep routines. Longer wind-down periods, more careful environmental management, more consistent timing, more gentle transitions. These aren't burdens. They're the practical requirements of your particular biology. We've reached the midpoint of our journey, and a pattern has emerged. Your sensitivity creates several interconnected challenges for sleep. High sleep reactivity means stress disrupts your sleep more powerfully. Deep processing means more mental work that needs integration during sleep. Intense emotions mean more emotional material to process during REM sleep. Low sensory threshold means environmental factors affect you more strongly. Empathy means you carry others' emotional residue to bed. And all of this creates a nervous system that needs more sleep yet finds it harder to achieve. Understanding these mechanisms isn't just intellectual knowledge. It's the foundation for self-compassion. You're not failing at sleep. You're navigating a more complex relationship between your unique nervous system and the rest it desperately needs. You're still here, still awake, still listening to these quiet truths about your own nervous system. Take a slow breath. Notice how your body feels a little heavier now, how some tension has released from places you didn't realize you were holding it. We're exploring sensitivity together. You and I and everyone listening in the gentle dark. If this understanding brings you relief, brings you permission, brings you closer to the sleep you need, a quiet like, subscribe, or sharing this helps another sensitive soul discover this sanctuary too. There's no rush, no performance, just the gentle recognition that you're not alone in this. Let's continue. Sleep cycles typically last about 90 minutes. Moving through stages: light sleep, deeper sleep, deepest slow wave sleep, then REM sleep before cycling back. Throughout the night, you progress through 4 to 6 of these cycles, but the composition changes as night progresses. Early cycles contain more slow wave sleep, that deep, restorative stage. Later cycles contain more REM sleep, that dream-rich, emotion processing stage. For your sensitive nervous system, both stages matter enormously. Slow-wave sleep is when physical restoration happens, when growth hormone releases, when your brain clears out metabolic waste. REM sleep is when emotional processing occurs, when memories consolidate, when experiences integrate. You need adequate time for both, which is why cutting sleep short, even by an hour, deprives you of crucial late-night REM sleep. when emotional integration happens most intensively. There's a neurological structure called the thalamus that acts as your brain's sensory relay station, filtering which stimuli reach your conscious awareness. Research suggests that in highly sensitive individuals, this filtering system may function differently, allowing more sensory information through to conscious processing. During wakefulness, this creates the heightened awareness that characterizes sensitivity. During sleep, this same difference might make it harder to filter out environmental stimuli that would allow you to maintain sleep. A slight sound, a small light change, a minor temperature shift, each has a higher probability of penetrating your awareness and disrupting sleep. Your thalamus, helpful during the day for noticing subtleties, becomes a liability at night when you desperately need it to filter more aggressively, protecting your sleep from interruption. Let's talk about what sleep deprivation does to sensitivity. Research shows that insufficient sleep increases emotional reactivity, decreases stress tolerance, and impairs cognitive function in everyone. But for highly sensitive people who already process emotions more intensely, tolerate stress less easily, and work harder cognitively, sleep deprivation amplifies these challenges exponentially. You don't just become tired, you become emotionally raw, unable to regulate feelings that are already intense. You become overstimulated more easily, unable to handle stimulation that you could normally manage. You become cognitively overwhelmed, unable to process information that your deep processing brain could normally integrate. Sleep deprivation for you isn't just fatigue. It's the removal of your primary recovery mechanism, leaving you vulnerable in ways that others might not experience to the same degree. There's a concept called allostatic load, the cumulative burden of chronic stress and life events on your body and brain. For highly sensitive individuals, allostatic load may accumulate faster because you're affected more deeply by stressors that others might dismiss. Each stressor leaves a stronger imprint, creates more physiological activation, requires more recovery. Sleep is your primary mechanism for reducing allostatic load, for giving your nervous system the recovery time it needs to return to baseline. Without adequate sleep, allostatic load keeps accumulating. Stress upon stress upon stress, never fully processed, never fully integrated, never fully released. Over time, this elevated allostatic load can contribute to physical health problems, mental health challenges, and chronic exhaustion. Sleep isn't luxury for you. It's necessary maintenance for a nervous system carrying a heavier burden. The relationship between sensitivity and nightmares deserves attention. Research from earlier studies found that higher sensitivity associates with more frequent nightmares. This makes sense considering how deeply sensitive individuals process emotional experiences. Nightmares often reflect the brain's attempts to process threatening or disturbing information. If you absorb more emotional intensity during waking hours, if your empathy means you feel others' pain more deeply, if your awareness means you notice more threatening information, your brain has more emotional material to process during sleep. Sometimes this processing manifests as nightmares, your sleeping brain working through intense experiences, trying to integrate them, sometimes overwhelmed by their emotional weight. Frequent nightmares further disrupt sleep quality, creating another challenging loop where your sensitivity creates sleep disturbance, which increases emotional vulnerability, which creates more disturbing dreams. Understanding your chronotype, your natural sleep-wake timing preference, adds another layer to managing sensitive sleep. Some people are natural early birds, others night owls. Research from 2024 on sleep timing found that circadian preferences affect when deep sleep and REM sleep occur. If you're forced to sleep at times misaligned with your natural chronotype, sleep quality suffers. For sensitive individuals already challenged by sleep difficulties, chronotype misalignment creates additional burden. If you're naturally a night owl forced to wake at 6 a.m., you're cutting short the sleep cycles richest in REM sleep, exactly when your brain does its most intensive emotional processing. Honoring your natural sleep timing, when possible, supports the quality of sleep your sensitive system needs, rather than adding another layer of physiological stress. Let's explore the role of routine in sensitive sleep. While anyone benefits from consistent sleep schedules, highly sensitive people may need it more urgently. Your nervous system thrives on predictability, on knowing what's coming, on having established patterns that don't require constant adaptation. A regular bedtime routine signals your reactive nervous system that sleep is approaching, beginning the gradual downregulation process hours before you actually lie down. The same activities, in the same order, at the same time create a ritual that your body learns to associate with approaching rest. This predictability helps bridge that gap between daytime activation and nighttime relaxation. Without routine, your nervous system must navigate this transition afresh each night, making the already difficult process of falling asleep even more challenging. There's a specific type of thinking that interferes with sleep for many sensitive people: rumination. This is repetitive, circular thinking about problems, emotions, or experiences without reaching resolution. Research shows connections between sensitivity, deep processing, and rumination. Your brain's tendency to process deeply can become rumination when applied to unsolvable problems at bedtime. You replay conversations, analyze interactions, worry about future scenarios, examine your emotional responses. All that intensive processing with nowhere productive to go. The rumination keeps your prefrontal cortex active when it needs to quiet for sleep. Understanding this isn't about stopping your thoughts. That creates more struggle. It's about recognizing rumination as a misdirection of your natural deep processing tendency, and gently redirecting attention toward rest instead of problem solving that can wait until morning. Physical exercise affects sleep, but the relationship is complex for highly sensitive people. Moderate exercise generally improves sleep quality by increasing sleep pressure, reducing stress, and promoting physical tiredness. However, intense exercise too close to bedtime can overstimulate your already reactive nervous system, raising cortisol and body temperature when they need to decrease for sleep. Additionally, competitive or high-stimulation exercise environments might create overstimulation that lingers. For sensitive individuals, gentle movement practices like yoga, walking, or swimming in calm environments might support sleep better than intense gym workouts or competitive sports. The key is finding movement that creates physical tiredness without nervous system activation. Exercise that depletes energy without elevating stress, that strengthens the body without overwhelming the mind. This balance looks different for each sensitive person. Halfway through our journey, let's pause to notice something worth recognizing. Every challenge we've discussed, high sleep reactivity, environmental sensitivity, emotional intensity, deep processing, empathic absorption, rumination, overstimulation exists because your nervous system is built differently. Not broken, not defective, just different. These aren't problems to fix so much as characteristics to understand and work with. Your need for more sleep, for more careful sleep conditions, for more gradual transitions, for more darkness and quiet. These aren't excessive demands. They're the logical requirements of a nervous system that works harder, feels more deeply, processes more thoroughly. Understanding replaces judgment. Compassion replaces criticism. And slowly, permission to meet your actual needs replaces the exhausting attempt to meet others' expectations. You're doing nothing wrong. You're simply highly sensitive. And that's enough. Let each breath guide you deeper into this moment. This darkness, this quiet space between waking and sleeping. You've been carrying so much. Other people's emotions, the day's stimuli, the weight of noticing everything, feeling everything, processing everything. But time moves differently in sleep. An hour of deep rest can heal what days of waking cannot touch. Right now, your time is your own, separate from the world's demands, flowing at the pace your nervous system chooses. Imagine all that accumulated stimulation like grains of sand slowly trickling through your fingers, falling away, dispersing into the vastness around you. You don't need to hold on to anything. The insights will still be there tomorrow. The sensitivities will still be yours. But tonight, you can release the burden of them. Float in this space between thoughts, between breaths, between who you were today and who you'll be tomorrow. And we continue drifting. Your sensitive nervous system needs darkness for sleep in ways that go beyond simple preference. The hormone melatonin, which regulates your sleep-wake cycle, increases in darkness and suppresses in light. But your low sensory threshold means you detect light levels that others don't consciously register. That small LED on your charging phone, that crack of light under the door, that slight glow from streetlights outside. Each creates enough stimulus to suppress melatonin production in your photosensitive system. Complete darkness isn't a luxury. It's a biological requirement for your particular neurochemistry. Blackout curtains, eye masks, eliminating all light sources. These aren't signs of being difficult. They're practical tools for working with a nervous system that responds to light intensely. Sound sensitivity affects sensitive sleep powerfully. While others might sleep through traffic noise or household sounds, your auditory threshold is lower, your detection more acute. You hear frequencies others miss. Notice patterns in ambient sound. Remain alert to unexpected noises. This auditory vigilance served our ancestors well. Someone needed to hear the approaching predator, the subtle shift in the night sounds that signaled danger. But in modern environments filled with mechanical hums, to neighbor sounds, traffic noise, your inherited auditory alertness keeps you from the deep relaxation sleep requires. White noise can help, not by making things quiet, but by masking the unpredictable sounds your nervous system monitors for. Your hearing isn't the problem. It's simply working exactly as designed. Temperature regulation during sleep matters more for sensitive individuals than many realize. Your body temperature naturally drops during sleep, part of the physiological process that allows rest. But your sensitive system may detect and respond to temperature variations more acutely. Too warm, and your nervous system activates, seeking cooling. Too cold and discomfort prevents relaxation. The ideal sleep temperature for most people is around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. But your particular needs might differ. Beyond objective temperature, your sensitivity to bedding texture, weight, breathability, all affect whether your nervous system can release into sleep or remains vigilantly uncomfortable. Temperature isn't trivial. It's another sensory variable your reactive system monitors constantly unless conditions feel exactly right. Touch sensitivity extends to everything contacting your skin during sleep. That tag on your pajamas, the slight roughness of sheets, the weight or airiness of your blanket. Each creates sensory input that your nervous system processes. While others might adapt quickly to these sensations, your low sensory threshold means each touch stimulus remains in your awareness longer, potentially preventing full relaxation. Soft, natural fiber sheets, tagless, comfortable sleepwear, appropriate blanket weight. These aren't indulgences, but practical necessities for sleep. Your skin is your largest sensory organ, and your sensitive nervous system responds to everything touching it. Making your sleep surface feel absolutely comfortable supports your biology rather than fighting it. The transition from work to sleep deserves more attention for sensitive people. You can't simply finish work at 6 p.m. and expect to sleep at 10 p.m. Your nervous system needs a longer decompression period. This might mean stopping stimulating activities earlier, creating buffer time between work and home, establishing transition rituals that signal your brain the shift is happening. Some sensitive individuals find that they need 3 to 4 hours between their last demanding task and attempting sleep. This isn't excessive. It's proportional to how activated your particular nervous system becomes during demanding activities. The transition time isn't wasted. It's essential processing time your brain requires before it can finally rest. Caffeine affects sensitive individuals differently, often more powerfully and for longer durations. Caffeine blocks adenosine receptors, preventing the sleep pressure that builds during waking hours. While someone with average sensitivity might metabolize caffeine in 4 to 6 hours, yours might linger for 8 to 12 hours or longer. That afternoon coffee at 2 p.m. might still be affecting your nervous system at midnight. Your sensitivity extends to how you metabolize substances, how intensely they affect you, how long their impact persists. Many sensitive people discover they need to avoid caffeine entirely or consume it only in early morning hours. This isn't weakness. It's working with pharmacodynamics that affect your system more intensely. Alcohol creates a particularly problematic relationship with sensitive sleep. While alcohol might help you fall asleep initially by sedating your activated nervous system, it significantly disrupts sleep architecture later in the night. It suppresses REM sleep, exactly the stage you need for emotional processing. It increases sleep fragmentation, causing more awakenings. For sensitive individuals who already struggle with sleep quality, alcohol trades easier sleep, onset for worse overall sleep, leaving you more depleted despite feeling initially drowsy. Your nervous system might also react more intensely to alcohol's effects and to its metabolism, creating a rebound activation as it processes out of your system, potentially waking you in early morning hours. Medication considerations for sensitive sleep require extra care. If you need sleep medication, your sensitivity might mean you respond more intensely to lower doses. experience side effects more prominently, or metabolize medications differently than average. This applies to both prescription and over-the-counter sleep aids. What's meant as a mild sedative for others might knock you out completely or leave you foggy the next day. Working with healthcare providers who understand sensitivity becomes crucial. Starting with lower doses, being patient with finding the right medication if needed, being alert to how your particular system responds. Your medication needs, like your sleep needs, are specific to your neurobiology, not a standard prescription applicable to everyone. Seasonal changes affect sensitive sleep profoundly. Shorter winter days mean less natural light exposure, potentially disrupting circadian rhythms more powerfully in your light-sensitive system. Longer summer evenings might keep your brain activated later, making early bedtimes harder. Seasonal temperature variations require adjusting your sleep environment more carefully. Some sensitive individuals experience seasonal affective disorder more intensely, with winter bringing both mood changes and sleep disruption. Understanding these seasonal patterns helps you anticipate challenges and adjust accordingly. Perhaps using light therapy in winter, blackout curtains in summer, modifying sleep schedules with the seasons rather than fighting your nervous system's natural responses to changing light and temperature patterns. The relationship between sensitivity and pain adds another layer to sleep challenges. Research suggests that highly sensitive people may detect pain at lower thresholds, experiencing it more intensely. Chronic pain and sleep create a bidirectional relationship. Pain disrupts sleep. Poor sleep lowers pain tolerance. For sensitive individuals, this cycle can become particularly challenging. The same nervous system that makes you more perceptive also makes you more vulnerable to pain's sleep-disrupting effects. Managing any physical discomfort becomes more essential for your sleep than it might be for others. Comfortable sleep positions, supportive mattresses, addressing any pain issues, all matter more. For a nervous system that detects and processes pain signals more acutely, social interactions during evening hours can create overstimulation that lingers into bedtime. While an evening gathering might be enjoyable, the stimulation of conversation, social awareness, emotional attunement to others' states, environmental stimuli of crowded spaces, all activate your nervous system intensely. Other people might leave a party and fall asleep easily hours later. You might leave exhausted, yet wired, overstimulated yet depleted, carrying the sensory and emotional residue of hours of social intensity. This doesn't mean avoiding all evening social contact, but it does mean being strategic about timing, duration, and recovery periods. Understanding that social stimulation affects your sleep helps you plan accordingly rather than wondering why you're lying awake despite being exhausted. Digital stimulation deserves special attention. Screen time before bed is generally discouraged, but for sensitive people, the impact goes beyond blue light affecting melatonin. The content you consume, news, social media, emotional stories, conflict, intense imagery, all activate your empathetic, emotionally responsive nervous system. You don't just view content, you absorb it, feel it, process it deeply. That disturbing news story stays with you. That social media argument activates your stress response. That intense movie stimulates your emotions intensely. For others, these might be mild entertainment. For you, they're powerful stimuli that your nervous system must process, often preventing the calm needed for sleep. Content curation isn't censorship. It's self-protection. Some sensitive people discover they're also highly creative, their minds generating ideas, connections, insights constantly. This creativity enriches life but can sabotage sleep. The same brain that notices subtleties during the day continues noticing, connecting, creating at night. You might lie in bed suddenly understanding a complex problem, seeing creative solutions, making novel associations. Your brain, activated by its own insights, resists shutting down. Keeping a bedside journal helps. Briefly noting the insight, promising yourself you'll return to it tomorrow, then releasing it. This honors your creativity without letting it hijack your sleep. Your creative mind needs rest too, even when it doesn't want to stop working. Perfectionism often accompanies sensitivity, perhaps because your awareness of subtleties makes you notice imperfections others miss. This perfectionism can extend to sleep itself, trying to sleep perfectly, becoming frustrated when sleep doesn't come immediately, anxious about not getting exactly 8 hours. This creates performance anxiety around sleep, further activating your nervous system when you need it to relax. Sleep isn't a performance. It's a natural physiological process that happens when conditions allow. Releasing perfectionism around sleep, accepting that some nights will be better than others, that fluctuation is normal, actually supports better sleep by removing the anxious monitoring that prevents relaxation. Good enough sleep is better than perfect sleep that never quite comes. Trauma history affects sensitive sleep more profoundly than it might affect less sensitive individuals. If you experienced trauma, your nervous system learned hypervigilance as survival. That hypervigilance doesn't easily release. Even years later, in safety, your already sensitive system became even more alert, more reactive, more difficult to soothe. Sleep requires feeling safe enough to become vulnerable, to release conscious control, to trust your environment enough to lower defenses. If trauma taught you the world isn't safe, sleep becomes uniquely challenging. Healing trauma through therapy, particularly trauma-focused approaches, can gradually teach your nervous system that it's safe enough now to rest. Your sleep difficulties may have deep roots requiring patient, compassionate healing. Grief and loss affect sensitive sleep intensely. Your empathy and emotional depth mean you don't just intellectually process loss. You feel it fully, absorb it deeply, carry its weight constantly. Grief disrupts sleep through multiple mechanisms: emotional pain preventing relaxation, rumination about the person or situation lost, changes in routine that provided structure, existential questions arising in quiet moments. For sensitive individuals, grief's impact on sleep might persist longer, hit harder, require more intentional support. Understanding that your intense grief response is proportional to your capacity for deep feeling helps. You're not grieving wrong or too much. You're simply feeling at the depth your nervous system allows, which is profound. Pregnancy and postpartum periods create unique sleep challenges for sensitive women. Hormonal changes affect mood and sleep regulation intensely in sensitive systems. Physical discomfort during pregnancy might be felt more acutely. The demands of infant care, with interrupted sleep and constant high alertness, strain an already reactive nervous system severely. Postpartum anxiety or depression might hit harder, last longer, require more support. The normal sleep deprivation all new parents experience becomes exponentially more challenging for someone whose baseline need for sleep is higher and whose emotional regulation depends more critically on adequate rest. Recognizing this helps you advocate for more support, more help, more grace during these demanding periods. Aging changes sleep patterns for everyone, but sensitive individuals might notice these changes more acutely. As people age, sleep generally becomes lighter, more fragmented, with more awakenings. Slow-wave deep sleep decreases. You might detect these changes earlier, feel their impact more powerfully. The frustration of noticing your sleep declining when it was already challenging adds emotional burden. But understanding normal age-related sleep changes helps distinguish what's aging from what's insomnia, what's biology from what needs intervention. Some changes are inevitable. Others respond to adapted strategies. Your awareness, while sometimes burdensome, also allows you to notice changes early and address them proactively before they become severe sleep disruption. Exercise timing becomes more essential for sensitive sleep than general advice suggests. While moderate exercise generally improves sleep, evening exercise might overstimulate your reactive nervous system, creating an activation that persists for hours. Morning or early afternoon exercise works better for many sensitive people, creating physical tiredness that accumulates by bedtime without the immediate nervous system activation of evening workouts. However, some find gentle evening yoga or walking helpful for transitioning towards sleep. The key is noticing how your particular nervous system responds to different exercise times and intensities, then honoring what you discover rather than following general recommendations that may not apply to your specific physiology. Nutrition's relationship with sleep extends beyond caffeine and alcohol. Blood sugar fluctuations affect sensitive nervous systems more dramatically. Low blood sugar during the night might wake you with anxiety or palpitations. Heavy meals before bed might create discomfort that prevents sleep onset. Some sensitive people find that a small, protein-rich snack before bed stabilizes blood sugar through the night. Others need to finish eating several hours before sleep. Nutritional sensitivities, food allergies, or digestive issues might create physical discomfort that disrupts sleep. Your particular dietary needs for optimal sleep might differ significantly from standard advice. Gentle experimentation, noticing patterns, honoring what works for your specific system. These support your individual biology. Shift work or irregular schedules create particular havoc for sensitive sleep. Your circadian rhythm, the internal biological clock regulating sleep-wake cycles, prefers consistency. Forcing your sensitive nervous system to sleep at irregular times fights this biological preference, creating what's called social jet lag even without traveling. The constant readjustment required by shifting schedules taxes your already reactive system severely. If your work requires irregular hours, extra attention to sleep hygiene becomes essential. Blackout curtains for daytime sleep, white noise for unpredictable environmental sounds, strict wind-down routines regardless of clock time. Your sleep challenges in these circumstances aren't personal failure. They're biology responding to demands that contradict its fundamental design. Relationships affect sensitive sleep in complex ways. A supportive, understanding partner who respects your needs creates emotional safety that supports rest. But relationship conflict, even minor, might keep you awake, processing, worrying, feeling disturbed. Your empathy means you carry your partner's stress too. You notice relationship subtleties, slight mood shifts, unspoken tensions that create low-level activation others might miss. Some sensitive people sleep better alone, their nervous systems relaxing more fully without another person's presence. Others find comfort in companionship. Neither is wrong. What matters is honoring what your particular system needs, communicating those needs clearly, finding arrangements that support your actual sleep requirements rather than conforming to expectations that don't serve you. Financial stress affects everyone's sleep, but your sensitivity might make economic anxiety particularly sleep-disrupting. You process threats more intensely, including financial uncertainty. Your deep processing means you think through multiple scenarios, consequences, possibilities. Your emotional intensity means financial stress feels more acutely frightening. This isn't catastrophizing. It's your nervous system responding proportionally to a real threat, with heightened awareness and emotional activation. Managing financial stress becomes more essential for your sleep than it might be for others. Sometimes this means practical budgeting. Sometimes it means therapeutic support for anxiety. Always, it means recognizing that your intense response is neither weakness nor overreaction, but your sensitive system detecting and responding to genuine difficulty. The concept of sleep efficiency, the percentage of time in bed actually spent asleep, reveals another aspect of sensitive sleep challenges. Someone with low sensitivity might fall asleep in 10 minutes, wake briefly once, and sleep 7.5 of their 8 hours in bed. Achieving 94% sleep efficiency, you might take 45 minutes to fall asleep, wake 3 times, and sleep 6 hours of your 8 hours in bed. Achieving only 75% sleep efficiency. You're in bed the same duration, but getting substantially less actual sleep. This lower sleep efficiency, common among highly sensitive individuals with high sleep reactivity, means you might need to allocate more time in bed to achieve adequate actual sleep duration. We're approaching the final quarter of our journey, and a truth emerges. Your sensitivity and your sleep are inextricably linked. Every dimension of sensitivity, genetic variants affecting neurotransmitter systems, brain regions that process more actively, nervous system reactivity to stimulation, deep emotional processing, empathic absorption, low sensory thresholds, all create both the need for more sleep and the difficulty achieving it. This isn't irony. It's biology. Your nervous system works harder, burns brighter, processes deeper, feels more intensely. And like any system working at higher intensity, it requires more recovery time. The question isn't whether you need more sleep. The question is how to finally give yourself the permission, conditions, and compassion to access the rest you've always needed. You might be feeling tired now, perhaps finally, and that's exactly right. Breathe slowly and feel your body becoming heavier with each exhale, like sinking into warm water. Consider this: everything in existence moves in cycles, day and night, breath in, breath out, waking and sleeping. All are circles, rhythms, endless returns. Your sensitivity, too, is cyclical, sometimes overwhelming, sometimes beautiful, sometimes both at once. And just like these cycles, you don't need to control them, fix them, to perfect them. They simply are. Let all the information you've absorbed tonight, all the understanding about why you're built this way, all the permission to need what you need, let it dissolve now, like gentle rain falling into still water, creating ripples that eventually fade into calm. You're not broken. You never were. You're simply sensitive. And now, finally, you can rest. We're almost there now. Research suggests your brain may cleanse itself during sleep. Studies show cerebrospinal fluid appears to flow more actively through brain tissue during sleep, potentially clearing metabolic waste that accumulated during waking hours. For your brain, that processes more intensively. This proposed cleaning mechanism becomes even more essential. Without adequate sleep, waste products may accumulate, affecting thinking, emotional regulation, physical functioning. This isn't metaphorical. Your brain physically maintains itself during sleep, preparing for another day of intensive processing. Rest isn't luxury. It's maintenance for the organ doing the hardest work in your sensitive existence. Your need for quiet makes sense now. Silence allows your auditory system to finally rest from constant stimulus detection. Darkness allows your visual system to stop processing light and shadow. Stillness allows your proprioceptive system to release awareness of body position and movement. Every sense that worked harder all day deserves rest. Creating these conditions isn't being difficult. It's showing the same care you'd give any overworked system. Your senses earned their rest through faithful service all day long. Dreams might visit you tonight, processing all you've absorbed. Your REM sleep will weave experiences into stories, connecting emotions to memories, integrating understanding into your broader sense of self. Some dreams feel vivid, intense, even disturbing. Your brain working through powerful material. Others feel gentle, peaceful, restorative. Trust the process. Your dreaming brain knows what needs processing, what needs releasing, what needs integrating. You don't have to understand the dreams or remember them. The processing happens whether you recall it or not. Temperature is dropping now in your room, or should be. Your body's core temperature declines during sleep naturally, signaling rest. Cool air supports this process. Warm blankets trap comfort close. The contrast helps. Cool room, warm cocoon. Your sensitive system notices this perfectly. The slight chill of night air, the weight of covers creating safety. Everything aligning toward rest. Let temperature differences guide you deeper. Body cooling towards sleep while comfort wraps around you. Touch becomes simpler in sleep. The constant sensory input from your day fades. Sheets against skin shift from potential irritation to neutral presence, to barely noticed sensation as you drift. The weight of your blanket, initially felt, gradually disappears from awareness. Your body, so alert to every tactile detail during waking, finally releases its vigilant monitoring. Touch stops demanding response. It simply exists, fading into the background as consciousness dims, as nervous system quiets. As sleep approaches gently, your heart rate slows, blood pressure lowers, breathing deepens and lengthens, becomes rhythmic, unconscious. These aren't things you make happen. They happen when your parasympathetic nervous system finally dominates. When your sympathetic activation finally releases, the body knows how to transition into rest when conditions allow. You've created those conditions. Darkness, quiet, comfort, safety, time, understanding, permission. Now, biology can do what it's designed to do when obstacles remove themselves. Your body knows this dance. Trust it. Thoughts begin spacing further apart now. The intense processing that characterized your day slows, pause, softens. Ideas still arise, but with less urgency. Less insistence that you attend to them immediately. Your prefrontal cortex, working so hard all day, finally starts releasing its grip on executive function. Control isn't needed now. Analysis isn't required. Deep processing can wait. The thoughts that remain drift gently. Clouds across a darkening sky. Noticed briefly. Released easily. Leaving stillness in their wake. Emotions settle like sediment in still water. The intensity you carried all day, yours and others, begins releasing. You don't need to do anything with feelings now. No analysis. No problem solving. No understanding required. Feelings simply exist. Acknowledged but not engaged. Felt but not amplified. Your emotional system, so intensely active while awake, softens into quieter states. The emotions will still be there tomorrow if they need addressing. Tonight they can simply rest, held gently in awareness, without demanding action. Your sensitivity, so challenging during waking hours, serves you now. The same awareness that detected every stimulus all day now notices your body's readiness for sleep. The same deep processing that exhausted you now helps integrate understanding about why you need this rest. The same emotional intensity that drained you now allows deep acceptance that you deserve sleep, deserve recovery, deserve the care you're finally giving yourself. Sensitivity isn't your enemy. It's simply a quality that needs understanding, not fighting. You're welcome to forgive yourself now for all the nights you struggled, all the mornings you woke exhausted, all the times you felt broken because sleep wouldn't come easily. You weren't doing anything wrong. You were working with a nervous system that needs more support than you understood. That understanding is here now. The self-judgment can release. The criticism can dissolve. What remains is simple truth. You're highly sensitive. You need more sleep. And that's perfectly, completely acceptable. The darkness around you isn't empty. It's full of potential for rest. Not threatening, not isolating, but cradling. This darkness is your friend now, supporting your visual system to rest from constant light detection, allowing melatonin to flow naturally, creating the visual emptiness where consciousness can finally stop processing images. Stop scanning for danger. Stop maintaining vigilant awareness. Darkness is permission to stop seeing. Stop noticing. Stop perceiving. It's the gentle insistence that now, finally, you can simply be. Somewhere. Many someones are lying awake right now. Sensitive nervous systems keeping them from the sleep they desperately need. They don't know yet what you're learning. That their struggle isn't weakness. That their needs aren't excessive. That their biology requires what it requires without apology. They're still fighting themselves. Still feeling broken. But perhaps, Eventually, understanding will reach them too. Perhaps, eventually, they'll find their way to this same gentle acceptance, this same permission to need more and take more and rest more. Your breathing creates its own rhythm now. A lullaby your body sings to itself, in and out, steady and deep. Requiring no conscious effort, this rhythm existed before thought, before language, before self-awareness. It's ancient, instinctive, trustworthy. Your breath knows how to guide you deeper into rest without your intervention. You can follow it down, like a rope descending into peaceful depth. Each breath pulling you gently further from waking, closer to sleep's embrace. The weight you've carried all day releases now, not the weight of your body that feels heavier, sinking into mattress and pillow, but the weight of responsibility, awareness, sensitivity, consciousness that lifts, dissipates, floats away. You don't need to hold anything together right now. Your conscious control can dissolve without consequence. Sleep will catch you. Darkness will hold you. Rest will restore you. The weight was never yours to carry through the night anyway. Scientists study sleep in laboratories with electrodes and monitors, measuring brain waves and eye movements and muscle tension. They've learned so much about sleep's architecture, its stages, its purposes. But they can't measure what matters most tonight. The simple relief of finally letting go, the peace of understanding why you need this, the grace of giving yourself permission to rest completely. Science explains mechanisms, but only you can feel the profound relief of surrendering to sleep after fighting it for so long. Morning will come, eventually, bringing light and sound and stimulation. Your sensitive system will wake and begin processing again, noticing, feeling, absorbing the world around you. But that's tomorrow's concern. Tonight, none of that exists. Only this moment, this darkness, this quiet, this heaviness, this slow fade from waking into sleep. Tomorrow can wait. The future can wait. Everything can wait. Right now, there's only this: your tired body, your quiet mind, your permission to rest. Imagine your nervous system like a vast network of lights that's been blazing brightly all day. Every circuit active, every connection firing. Now, one by one, the lights dim, not all at once, gradually, gently, in waves moving through your body and brain. Some lights remain on, maintaining essential functions, but conscious awareness dims, fades, softens. The network quiets, the brightness lowers, and in that dimming, rest becomes possible. Darkness isn't the enemy. It's the compassionate friend who turns down the lights. You were never meant to do this alone. To figure out your sleep without support or understanding. Now you have both. Understanding of why your nervous system works this way. Support in knowing others share this struggle. That you're not uniquely broken. The isolation of believing you're the only one who can't sleep easily. Can't fall asleep like others. That isolation dissolves in the recognition that 20 to 30% of people share this temperament. You're not alone in needing more rest. The perfect conditions for sleep aren't what magazines suggest or what studies on average people determine. Perfect conditions are whatever your particular nervous system needs. If that's total darkness and specific temperature and white noise and soft sheets and 3 hours of wind-down time, then those are your perfect conditions. Not excessive, not demanding, simply honest. Honoring your actual needs rather than trying to conform to someone else's requirements is how you finally access the rest that's been waiting for you. Your sensitivity is a gift that requires care. During waking hours, it lets you notice beauty others miss, feel connections more deeply, process meaning more thoroughly, create and perceive art more fully. These aren't separate from your sleep challenges. They're the same trait expressing in different contexts. The depth that exhausts you also enriches you. The awareness that prevents sleep also prevents superficial living. You can't separate the challenges from the gifts. They're all part of being deeply, intensely, beautifully sensitive. Almost there now. Your consciousness has dimmed so much that these words might barely register, might wash over you like gentle waves without demanding understanding. That's exactly right. You don't need to understand anymore. The understanding was for the part of the journey where your mind was still active. Now, in this final descent, understanding gives way to simple surrender. Words fade. Meaning fades. Only the rhythmic sound remains, guiding you gently down into the darkness that waits patiently to hold you. Every highly sensitive person's sleep journey is unique, but the destination is the same rest. True, deep, restorative rest, where your nervous system finally gets the recovery time it's been desperately needing. Some nights come easily. Others require more patience, more care, more acceptance. Tonight is whatever it is, and that's enough. Whether sleep comes quickly or slowly, whether it's perfect or good enough, you're moving in the right direction, toward understanding, toward self-compassion, toward the rest you deserve. Let everything you learn tonight become background now, filed away in memory where it can inform tomorrow's waking hours without disturbing tonight's rest. The understanding will still be there. The self-compassion will remain. The permission to need more will persist. But right now, all that knowledge can fade into the same gentle darkness where your awareness is slowly dissolving. Let the words go. Let the concepts drift. Let the entire conversation become a distant murmur, fading into silence as sleep approaches. Your sensitivity brought you here, to this moment, this darkness, this quest for understanding why sleep feels so difficult and necessary at once. And here, in these final moments of waking, sensitivity reveals its deepest truth. You feel everything more intensely, including the profound relief of finally, after so much struggle, allowing yourself to rest. The same depth that makes waking harder makes rest, when it finally comes, infinitely sweeter. You've earned this peace. Take it now. One final truth. So simple it needs barely a whisper. You are highly sensitive, and you need more sleep. And both of these facts are perfectly, completely, absolutely okay. There's nothing to fix, nothing to change, nothing to overcome, only understanding to cultivate, compassion to offer yourself, and rest to finally accept. Your sensitivity isn't your flaw, it's your nature, and your nature deserves the sleep it needs. The journey ends here, at the beginning of rest. Good night, sensitive soul. Sleep well, sleep long, sleep deep, And so, our quiet journey through sensitivity and sleep comes to a gentle close. We've traveled from the genetic whispers that made you different to the brain pathways that never quite rest, discovering along the way that your need for sleep isn't weakness, but proportion. Your nervous system requiring recovery time equal to how hard it works, how deeply it feels, how thoroughly it processes every waking moment. From the first recognition that your brain works differently to the final permission to rest completely, we've glimpsed how sensitivity and sleep are two sides of the same truth. You experience life more intensely, and therefore require more darkness, more quiet, more time to integrate all you absorb. Your sensitivity reminds us that different nervous systems have different requirements, and honoring those differences is wisdom, not weakness. Much of your deepest rest happens in silence. In the hours when the world stops demanding you process and feel and notice. Without this rest, the gift of sensitivity becomes burden. With it, sensitivity enriches both your life and the lives of those fortunate enough to know you. In these final minutes, take the deepest breath you can. As deep as possible, think about the unity of all sensitive souls, across time and space, each struggling with the same challenge nervous systems that feel too much, notice too much, need too much rest. You are not alone in this. You never were. Somewhere, right now, another sensitive person is finally letting go, finally allowing sleep, finally accepting that they're not broken, just beautifully, intensely aware. Think about consciousness itself. Yours, mine, everyone listening, all sensitivity everywhere. Perhaps all connected in ways we don't yet understand. All deserving the same rest, the same compassion. Let your entire being dissolve now into the ocean of shared sensitivity, into dreamless rest, into the space before thought, before awareness, before the morning light returns. Prepare for deep sleep. No boundaries left, only peace. If this thoughtful exploration of sensitivity helped you understand yourself better, helped you feel less alone, helped you finally give yourself permission to need the sleep you need, a gentle like, subscribe, or sharing this helps another sensitive soul discover this sanctuary too. One quiet tap, one peaceful night, one sleepy soul at a time. But there's no need to do anything now. Nothing at all. You've traveled far tonight, through neuroscience and genetics, through brain scans and sleep architecture, through empathy and overstimulation, all the way to this simple truth: your sensitivity is real. Your sleep needs are valid, and both deserve respect. You can allow these thoughts of sensitivity and sleep to fade now, like morning mist burning off under gentle sun, leaving only the quiet calm behind. Let your breathing deepen. Let your body feel heavier, as if gravity itself is gently pulling you down into the mattress, into the earth, into rest that's been waiting patiently for you. If sleep comes, let it carry you like a leaf floating downstream, smoothly, inevitably, into a realm where sensitivity finally rests, where awareness finally quiets, where the nervous system that worked so hard all day finally stops working and simply exists in darkness. If your eyes are still open, the next video is waiting for you, ready to continue the journey. But if they're closed, stay there. Stay in the darkness that feels safe and soft and absolutely yours. Tomorrow, your sensitivity will still be there. The world will still demand you notice, feel, process, absorb. But tonight belongs to stillness. Tonight belongs to rest. Tonight belongs to the deep. Restorative sleep your sensitive nervous system has earned through faithful service. Rest well, beautiful, sensitive soul. And remember, your need for more sleep isn't your failing. It's your biology's honest request for the recovery time it requires. Sweet dreams, deep sleep, complete rest. Good night.